Hey guys, I'm in the garden today, just chilling. It's a beautiful day and I wanted to make a video about seed saving. I would probably call myself a beginner seed saver. I've just started reading a few books on seed saving and watching a few videos, but I'm just beginning to get a grasp of how it works. And I think the way the world is going at the moment, it's becoming more and more important to grow your own food and to save your own seeds. So here in Australia, we have produce coming from Tasmania, Victoria, which is on the other side of the country. Here in Queensland, that's a pretty big distance. And another problem with that is that the food is actually losing its nutritional value. So we are seeing the rise of hybridized plants. And basically what that means is plants' nutritional values are actually coming down. And that means you need to eat more plants, more produce, to get the nutrients you need. So you're eating lower quality food, which is going to make you sick because your body's not getting the nutrients it needs to stay healthy. And it also means you're getting less value for your food. So you actually have to buy more food to get the nutrients that you need, compared to organic produce like in a garden, where the food you're eating is so nutrient dense that you're actually getting the best value for your food. I just quickly wanted to add, I was just thinking about this. I understand most people, including myself, are very busy with jobs, family commitments, but I think it is really important to find one plant or one thing in your garden that you can become self-sufficient at. So that could be lettuce, growing your own lettuce, saving your own lettuce seeds. It could even be flowers, growing your own flowers so you're not buying them from the store, which they are imported across the country. It is really important to just find that one thing and get really good at it. I could talk about this for a whole video. I'm very passionate about it and I'm trying to filter myself a bit because I'm sure you guys don't want to hear all of that. And if you do, drop a comment. I would love to talk about it. So today I'm talking about seed saving, and there are two types of seed saving that I've gathered from my research, and there is the wet seed saving and dry seed saving. So dry seed saving, I will show you, is the easiest type of seed saving. And that is most vegetables. So for example, we have this cosmos here, which is a lovely purple flower. This would be a dry seed. So you can pull that off, let it dry, the seed's good to go. Another one would be carrot. So here's a carrot. Carrot is a dry seed. It sends up a flower, which then dries, you save that, it's good to go. So for beginners, dry seeds are the best way to go. The next type of seed is a wet seed, and I'm just trying to find if I have any example of that. I do. Come this way. So I've got this tomato bush here, although there aren't any red tomatoes on it. I've only got these green cherry ones. But this is an example of a wet seed. So you can also have things like cucumbers, pumpkins, zucchini, and the seed is covered with a fleshy gel that actually stops the seed from germinating. So it is really important that you remove that so that the seed can germinate. And there are two ways to do it. You can either rub it off manually or ferment the seed. So I met this lovely lady who's been gardening her whole life, and she actually saves seeds from her garden and drops them off at her local library where people pick them up for free. So a really kind woman. And she showed me how to save seeds from a tomato. So let's watch how she does that, follow through to the end, and let's get better at saving seeds together and eating good organic food from our gardens in this very crazy world.
What I'm doing now is I've just cut the little tomato. I waited until it became soft, because then I know that it's probably reached a reasonable point of maturity, so that means that they're going to be more viable. It's like when I was talking to you before about a half-ripe fruit, that some of them are squishy and you can't feel anything inside, and you know that they're not going to produce another fruit. Yeah. So I cut it in half, squeeze the flesh out of the middle so that there's nothing left inside. Yep. See, that's just empty. Okay. That can be disposed of. It can go to the worm farm, and then all I do with this now is I press it just to start to loosen it up, and then I run it under the tap. So with the tap, it's going to, if I do this, turn it on, let it run gently. What I do is just to wash off all the excess. A lot of the pulp will actually go through. What doesn't go through, I can then pull that out. So see how it's washing?
Very, very simple, actually.
It is really simple, but it is a time-consuming process. This is only one part of it.
And
So
then
what
you
I
would
have to
get
do-
maybe 15 or so of those seeds and do the same thing you did over here to make sure
No,
they're viable.
no.
So you would test them.
No, I don't with these because I'm absolutely certain that there's going to be a high percentage of seeds that are viable. So I don't want to waste seeds. So what I'm doing now is just making sure that the seeds are as clean as they are. And by rubbing it on this rough surface, it's just taking some of the aril, which is something that you use. The plant actually uses. It's like a slimy coating. And it actually uses that to protect the seed. See how I've got over here, if you follow me. I don't need that. What I do now is I try to dry this as much as I can from underneath. I'm going to use lots and lots of layers of this. I tip them out onto here. And now what I start doing is rubbing it against the paper towel, to make sure that they're clean. They've got no red flesh on it, because there's nothing more ugly when you selling seeds to somebody when they're covered in flesh.
Yeah,
So
of course, yeah.
You need nice clean seeds. People expect nice clean seeds, so they get nice clean seeds. Now with this lot, I'm going to let them sit for quite some time, and I'm going to do a trial with some of them, and I'm actually going to pull a few aside and just let them sit in some water to see if they can ferment and go through a very short fermentation process.
Oh, okay.
To see that might increase or shorten the time that it takes for the seed to germinate once you put it in the ground. So I experiment a lot. So when I've got enough seeds to do this, I will do it. See, and you can see it's all coming clean there now.
And how did you say you let it ferment? How do you let the seeds ferment?
Just put them in some water and let them sit for a few days.
And then you would put them on the
And they'll go, yes.
paper towel after?
A different paper towel, yes. So I'll separate them and I'll mark them, because I want to make sure that it's like a scientific experiment. So
Right.
yes, I like to do things where I've actually got all the information on it. So you'll notice that this one here, it actually had writing on it, all the details of what went in and everything like that, why I did it, the date it went in, the species, so when they were collected from those fruit, and they were collected on the 13th of the 5th, the 13th of the 5th for seed germination. This is a test for viability. Okay.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
These were rejected seeds, so they were the ones down the outside here. So if you see all of those down there, they were the rejected seeds that I thought might be unviable.
Mm-hmm.
These ones here, those three I put in the middle. That was a bean I threw in afterwards, but that's not going to work. See how they've all sent off. I'm not worried about growing them, but see how they've all got roots.
Yeah.
So that's telling me that I know that I'm correct in choosing those as viable seeds. This one here was nice. It was sort of half ripe and half not, and it did start to germinate as well. So I can now remember that if I press it and I find a bump in there, that quite likely it's going to have a chance of germinating.
And you picked this a little bit early, so that's why it wasn't the best germination.
No, that's right. And some of these were in the middle of the fruit, and they were
right.
riper. They were more developed.
Yep.
So you could see by the colour, when I was scraping them out of the plant, you could see they were a different colour. They were slightly darker.
A bit more mature.
And they look more mature, yes, where these were very pale. So that helped me to understand. So when I take the seed out, I need to know that if I put seeds into a packet to go to a customer, that's what I look for. So this is part of my experiment. So now I know that those seeds can go into packets to be distributed, those nice hard ones.
That's really cool.
I can be comfortable knowing that, okay?
Yep.
And I'm not sending duds, because if you start sending duds, people won't come. They won't buy your product.
Get a bad name for yourself.
Of course, yes. It's like anything. Okay, so they're just going to sit for a little while and just be allowed to dry. And see, what I do then is, as they start to dry, I lift them off, roll them around so that they're clean. And see, that one's nice and clean now. See, that little bit of stuff just came off the edge there?
Oh, I see, yeah.
And see, that's clean. So that means that when it lies on this paper, if it doesn't stick to the paper, sticking to my finger, maybe this is still damp, but where are you? Come on, you little star. Yes. Just want to show you how I separate them now from a lot of the extra stuff. Oh, they're all coming out clean. They're all coming out clean. But if there's anything in there, I just gently blow.
Oh,
If there's any pieces, it'll blow aside.
and you have the dry bits from the flour.
And yeah, that's the dry parts off the flour.